Okay, what's up guys? Welcome to yet another episode of the Poncho's Paint Booth, where we do all things hobby, mostly painting, mostly Warhammer stuff, but there's some other things in between. Maybe, eventually. So, what we are going to, well, real quick, obviously you're watching this here on YouTube, so go down to the corner, like and subscribe to my page, Multi-Murdy Media, or my channel I should say. You'll get this playlist. You'll also get the Gutsy Ass Gamer, which is, video games and Twitch and stuff. And you'll get the Jankety Ass Podcast, which is the video format of my podcast, which you can also find the audio version of on every major podcasting platform and a bunch of other smaller ones in between. And last but not least, go find Multi-Murdy Media on Instagram and Facebook. You'll get all the updates for all my shows as they come out. And speaking of this show, this time we're working on another model of the Space Marine Primaris range, actually. Just a singular character model. Today we're going to be starting on the Primaris Apothecary. So, if you're not already, if you're not already aware, but just by the title, if this thing will ever come into focus, actually. But the Apothecary, oh, there it is. The Apothecary is basically the healer of the group-ish. So, and then in the game, this thing basically makes it so that my units can potentially negate wounds that come in, and will also help to heal models in a unit. So the more wounds they have, the better to begin with, because then it's easier, because they can't pop up dead models anymore, which is probably for the better. But so let's go ahead and get this guy hooked up into our thing. Now, first thing I'm going to do is, you can see that he's standing over the body of another Space Marine. The idea here is that he has just pulled this guy's geneseed, which is a good thing. So, because that's what they use to make more Space Marines. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make this into the color of the same chapter, which is the Black Templars, hence, the title, Black Templars. The Apothecary is going to be a different color, because they primarily, they have a different color based on their profession, which is white. So most of his armor is going to be all white. The only thing that's going to share the chapter heraldry is his left shoulder pad, just like the rest of them do. But in that sense, this guy down here is going to be painted up in the standard Black Templar colors, and which, as you can guess from the title, is black. So the job is mostly done already. But what we are going to do is dry brush over those elements to pop out the edges, and that's going to be done with our dark sea gray, just like we did with the intercessors that you've already seen. So let's get a little bit of this out. I think I can do this without even going full speed here. So I only need just a little bit. And we'll just gingerly go over. Okay, maybe not that soft. There we go. Getting a little bit of details out. So not too hard, not too soft. Yeah, there we go. Just getting all these edges out. And also kind of making it look a little bit rougher, I guess. A little bit of weathering in character. And then we don't have to get too crazy with this one. Okay, that's pretty much all we need for that. So now what I'm going to do is get into the actual main color of our... Oh, actually, you know what? Before I continue on, I will also really quickly dry brush the edge of his shoulder here because I want it to be the same. And most of this is going to get covered up anyway. So, just quick, rough little dry brushing. And that's all we need from our gray. So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch to white. And this is going to go, like I said, basically over all of the armor. And, you know, the backpack and the shoulders. And even this left shoulder because, you know, again, it shares the same heraldry as the Black Templars, but that's still white, basically. But then also, on top of that, we're also going to hit the, what you can see from the chest piece on our fallen dude here, as well as this shoulder pad is also going to be the same color, white. And, well, this is going to take a couple coats, so we're going to go ahead and go into full speed mode, starting now. Alright, we've got a nice white layer down, as is the office colors of the Apothecarium. So now, we've got one more thing that I want to do here. That's to really give this white some life. And we're going to add the aptly named Apothecary white. And what that is, there's a lot of sediment on the bottom here. Okay, it's a little bit more mixed up. So what we're going to do is apply this to both the elements on our fallen dude here, and then of course all over the armor of the Apothecary itself. And what that's going to do is add a little bit of a light gray into some of the recesses in those surfaces to, about to sneeze, to give us some more detail. So you've already seen me do this before, so let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, much better. Applied the applied some contrast in there. I'll give you a better view here in a second. Whenever there we go. So now you can see there's some light details picked out, mainly in the nooks and crannies all over our boy's armor here, thanks to the Apothecary white contrast. So for now, we're going to go ahead and let this dry, and we'll come back in. Alright, coming back to do some more work on our Apothecary. You'll notice, based on the video, that I haven't touched this guy in a long time. I mean, last time when I started this guy, I was in a different room, for one, and you can see my background's changed, and there we go. Yeah, all the framing of the stuff's changed, but the model still remains the same. Give you a better look of our Primaris Apothecary. So what we did before was basically just the white, and then some whatchamacallit. I did some dry brushing on the black armor elements because, well, this guy's Black Templars, right? So he has on the base there's a fallen dude, our poor hero, and our medic is removing his, or apothecary is removing his geneseed. That's going to be something I'll deal with later. But for now, I'm going to be focusing on a couple things. For starters, I'm going to apply a base layer to the base, and that's going to come in the form of field gray. This is kind of like our medium gray, and that's going to be going over all the flat parts, and then on the actual base scenery modeling itself, there's some areas that are kind of like dirt, basically. That's also going to be this. And then, let's see, I will also be applying ash gray. First, this is going to go on the back of any joints and straps on the actual dude. So basically like back of the knees, so here and here. The inside of his left arm that's hanging down. And there was something else as well. Oh yeah, he's got straps that go from the back plate to the chest, like right underneath the chest. And then last but not least, this ash gray is also going to go on the rocks that are on the base, as well as there's some like destroyed building scenery. That's what this color is going to be used for. Or, sorry, this color, ash gray. I'm going to start with the field gray, just so that kind of dries by the time I get back down here with the ash gray. And I don't think there's any other spots that I'll be needing the ash for. So let's go ahead and get started with the field gray. Alright, got some grays in. I will show you what that looks like here in a second once I'm finished cleaning up. So we got some detail down here on the base. Nice bunch of rocks and stuff. Also a little bit behind the knees. It is harder to see in this case since the character has white armor as opposed to the black that most of the Black Templars are normally have, hence Black Templars. But that is going to eventually be filled in with with the shade, so it'll stand out later. Let's see, what I'm going to do next now is add in some red elements. So where that's going to go, let's see, there's only a couple spots. Yeah, a couple spots that it's going to go on. Oh, you know what? I actually missed something. There are a couple of wires on his arms, or not his arms. On the backpack arms here, you can see that also, or not wires, but cabling. That also require some of the gray. I may have put out a little bit too much. But yeah, it was just the one. Shit. Alright, so I wasted a little bit of paint, but it's no big deal. You live and you learn. Unfortunate. So, as I was saying, we're going with our terracotta. This is kind of our dark red. It most closely matches corn red in the Citadel range from Games Workshop, which is, it's kind of like an everyman's red. It's good for just about everything. What this is going to go on is this big old tabard that's on his chest, as well as, no, not as well as, yeah, so the tabard on his chest, it's going to go on the casing of his reductor pistol, this thing, so basically this big top piece and the thing on the bottom there. And I think, I want to say there's something else. Oh yeah, and it's also going to be the rims on his pauldrons, shoulder pads, are also going to be this color. These, what are they called? The apothecary symbol that's on his right shoulder and his backpack, that's going to be a different color, so I'm not going to deal with that yet. Or well, not so much a different color, but just a different shade of red. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, got our base reds done on this dude now. Give you a better look. So that is his tabard, his gun, and the shoulder rims. Now well, let's see, this paint does kind of go on rather wet, so I'm actually going to wait for it to dry off a bit before attempting to do more, i.e. apply a wash. But what I am going to do is I'm also going to add to the base, just to kind of help me get it ready for what I'm going to do later, and that is going to be by applying our gray pumice. Actually, is that what it's called? Yeah, rough gray pumice to the base. That's going to give us more of a rocky texture around some of the flatter areas, but not too much though, because this is, as you remember when I did the intercessors originally, it was they were snowy bases, so it's only going to be a little bit of these rocks for now. But I want to get it ready so that I can apply the wash to the rest of the base elements, and then also the joints and stuff all at the same time later. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and grab a little bit of this stuff and just sort of start pressing it in here and there. A bit around the shoulders. It doesn't really need it there. Put some in the bigger areas that have more space. Space around the base. And, oh, yeah, less than that. A little bit over here. There we go. Actually, let me see. I think about it. I might be able to apply some of the wash now. Let me double check here. Get cleaned up. Shit. You know what? I will go ahead and... Oh. Yes, I'll do it now. So what I'm going to do next is apply a little bit of our trusty Agrax Earth Shade to the areas that I just painted red, and that's going to give us our recessed detail. Not so much on the shoulder rims, but I mean, I'm going to add a little bit anyway, because it'll still give us some effect. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Alright, left a little bit of a wash in there. For the most part, it does kind of look like a mess right now, but that'll be fine because eventually, get this light out of here. What I am going to be doing is dry brushing on a brighter red to give us more standout on the raised details. That's going to be, yeah, all the same places. And then also, whenever this base dries, I will eventually be applying the black wash to all the gray elements. But again, that's going to... actually, you know what? I might wait on that. Nah, I'll do it. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of it right now. Just on the back of the knees. I just want to get it out of the way. It's fine. So, this is Nuln Oil that I'm applying. Basically just to the back of the knees. To give us a nice, get that ribbed texture to stand out. On the joints. And then, let's see, also on this pipe up here in the backpack. Oh yeah. This big one. Crossing over his elbow. And I don't want to forget these straps on his torso. And then also normally the Primaris have like extra cabling and bundling around the stomach, but you can't really see it with this guy because well, his back's pretty much obscured by like these holsters and pouches and stuff like that. And then of course up front he's got the tabard, so you can't see anything. So I don't have to worry about that. But as you can see in the back of the knees, we got that nice texture going on there. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and let this all dry, and we'll pick up when we come back. Alright, so as you guys can see, our apothecary is coming along quite nicely, actually. But, well, not but. What I'm going to do now is, I'll just keep going with some of the more details. Actually, this time I'm going to hit up, to start off with, I'm going to hit up another one of our main colors, and that is the gunmetal. And I say main because it's going to be used for a lot of different spots. The first thing that I was going to do, actually, is with the gunmetal is hit up these shell casings that are kind of on the base here by our poor fallen soldier. However, I am also going to, and I just saw something else I need to hit later, but actually, no, I will do that in a second here. I just noticed that the neck ribbing in, if I turn on the light, well, you can't really see it that well, but this guy that's here on the base, his neck cover is showing, so that needs to be hit with the ash gray, as we did with all the other joints. And of course my apothecary's neck you can't really see, so don't have to worry about that. Anyway, so the gunmetal was starting with the shell casings on the base. It's also going to be going on, I usually do up like the side ear pieces on their helmets with the gunmetal, so that's going to be, he's got the one here. And let's see. Also, of course, my apothecary has the same thing going on the left side of his helmet. Whereas on the right side, he's got a bunch of optical instruments, so gunmetal right there. The arms, the Chirurgeon arms that are on his backpack, gunmetal. And of course the bottom parts of the exhaust vents and the smaller ones on the side of the backpack are going to be hit with that. Let's see what else. I guess I'll go ahead and do the pistol handle and parts of the mechanics of his reductor pistol. And let's see, he's got like some other machineries on his hip, pretty much everywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and do these two colors real quick right now, and we'll see where that lands us. Okay. Got a bunch of metal details on this guy. Definitely a lot, just more details in general. Let you guys take a look. So, yeah, his cheers and arms on his backpack are all painted up, or got a good layer on them. And then just other random details like his arm piece there. The caps on his these geneseed canisters. Oof, burping all over. Hold on. Stuff on the ground. All that. So now, what's next is to hit all those metal parts and most of the base except for our dude in armor, of course, with a layer of Nuln Oil shade. Get some details out. And this, of course, is going to fill in the recessed details and, you know, give us that, whatchamacallit, give us like the negative texture. Oh, fuck. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 1 in the morning. That's why. But, and then later on we'll add in some more positive details. But anyways, you guys have seen me work Nuln Oil 100 times before, so let's do it. Alright, got some Nuln Oil in there, a little bit of wash. Make sure I finish cleaning up here. Oh, that edible's kicking in. But, so yeah, we got some more details going on with this guy. See if I can get, there we go. That's a good focus. I need more light though. So just adding some more colors. And some more detail into the base. And eventually these rocks are going to be dry brushed as well. Well, plus I have to do it anyway with the granular texture that I added onto the base. But we're going to go ahead and let this guy dry off. And when we come back, more details. Are you listening to this show and thinking, man, I'd like to start a podcast, but I don't even know where to start? Well, Buzzsprout has the answers for you. Buzzsprout is a podcast hosting service that provides a number of valuable resources to help you on your podcasting career path. For one, Buzzsprout offers indefinite hosting of all your episodes and allows you to host as much material as you want, depending on the type of subscription that you opt for. Buzzsprout also provides a means for getting your show hosted to every major podcasting platforms such as iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, you name it. In addition, Buzzsprout also provides various means to get your show monetized through various sponsorship and affiliate programs, links to other paid hosting platforms such as Patreon and YouTube, and your own personal newsroom to learn all the tips and tricks for optimizing your podcast for the greatest return on your investment. If you're hearing all this and you're still interested, you can go to my link below and receive an Amazon gift card for starting a podcast hosting subscription that you'll receive on the second billing period of your podcast journey. Everyone has something to share, and there's no time like the present. Join Buzzsprout today. Alright. Wasted enough time waiting to do this. Let's go ahead and get some more details onto our apothecary. We're pretty much done with all the major base stuff. There's still a few things left. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on... Actually, shit. Okay. Switching gears just a little bit. What I'm going to do now is start adding in some of our brighter reds, and that's going to be in the form of pure red. And what I'm going to do with that is... what am I going to do with that? Okay, so on both the crest of his helm, you can't really see it that well because of the lights. On the crest of his helm, just like, or forehead, I should say, not crest. And then also on this side, on his shoulder, you'll see there is this helix symbol. So that's going to be done with pure red. And then, let's see. Yeah, that's going to be pure red. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to... see. No. So just those. I might do at least one of the wires on his backpack here. On one of his Chirurgeon arms is also going to be red. And then I'm going to use the same color to dry brush over his gun. His tabard. Kind of bring some more detail back in. Or a little bit brighter edges and stuff. And then maybe on the rims of the shoulder pads. Although I think that's going to be a little bit too much of a pain in the ass. But we will see. At the very least, I am doing the those two bigger elements. So, get this all shook up. Get my light on. Let's get into it. Okay, got a little bit of red in there. I'll show you. I also forgot to mention that he does have one eye lens that needs to be red as well. So yeah, we got a little bit of red in his eye there. It's a little hard to see. And then of course on his forehead, his shoulder. I didn't even try and do the rims because it wouldn't have had a huge effect and I would have risked just spilling all over the white, which I don't want to do. And then we added some red onto his gun there and his tabard. Kind of bring a little bit of brightness out. So now what I want to do is I do have a couple more elements to... Let's see, I could put this away, I believe. Hope so. Oh yeah, and I did one of the wires on the back here. Easy peasy. Now, there are a couple spots, I think, yeah. There's a couple spots I want to bring black back into, and also add to. So, his belts, or the belts for these guys, I've been traditionally leaving black. So, there are a couple spots where I just kind of have to go in and touch up again. But, then, the major thing that I need to do as well is to add a the Black Templars symbol onto their left shoulder. And I've been doing these freehands because it's not really that difficult. And in order to do that, I first make an outline with my artist pen. This one's black, and yeah, that's the tip there. Not the and this is actually kind of deceptive because the fine point tip is actually well, it looks like a big tip. But the actual point is pretty good. It's unlike some of the so-called fine point ones where it's like a little metal pin type of thing. That's actually not what I want. Let's see, but I do have an example here. So, yeah, belt and symbol. Let's do that now. Alright. Show you in a second. It's not my best Templar cross that I've done. I've certainly done better, but it'll serve my purposes. Don't want that there. I want this there. So, as you can see, we got a janky little crest on his left shoulder there. And then what you can't really see is I also touched up the belt a little bit. But, of course, it's underneath everything else, so whatever. Next up, we're going to add in some of our more reddish details. And what that is going to look like is... Actually, let me make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. So what that's going to look like is... Ooh, I need... What else do I need? Here we go. Is that all I need? No. Yes. Okay. So there's a few things that I want to hit. First, he's got this relic skull attached to his belt in the back. As with all bone-related stuff, that is going to be painted over using Drake's Tooth. It's going to take a couple of coats, of course. And then I'm going to come in with our demonic yellow. That's my medium-ish yellow. And what that's going to go over is this floodlight thing that he's got on one of his Trojan arms here. And then I'm also going to use it as the base color for the, what the fuck is this called again? His geneseed that he's holding on to, that he's taken from our poor fallen brother down here on the base. That's going to be yellow. And then last but not least, we're going to hit the leather elements with our leather brown. And what that is going to be is that's his holster here in the front. This holster in the back. Maybe these two cords that are threaded through the skull's eyes. That's kind of what's keeping it attached to his belt. Let's see, there was a couple other things. Oh yeah, the straps, and then all the straps on his the geneseed canisters that he's got. Like he's got the ones on his chest here, and then the one that's draped over his arm. That's going to be leather brown. And I did see, oh yes, there it is. There was, actually I don't need a different color. I'm also going to be using Drake's Tooth for his purity seals, of which he's got at least a few here. Oh, fucking Christ, you know what? There's something else I need. Yes. I'm also going to be going back in with terracotta on the actual wax portions of the purity seals on his chest. You will see what I mean. Let's see, I'm actually going to start with the yellow here, so let's go ahead and do it. Alright. So we've added in some more of our red-based details. Or red spectrum, I guess. Red derivative colors, that's the word I'm looking for. So, yeah, he's got the, on the, god damn it, what are they called? The geneseed vials that he's got on his chest. Each one has a purity seal, and as you can see, I did up the paper, the parchment elements, and then of course added in some red on the wax. He's got a geneseed that he's holding onto there. I'll probably do a little bit more with this later, but for right now, well, what I'm gonna do next is gonna take some time to dry, and then of course leather elements on his holsters, front and back, and the skull back there. So now, oh, and then yeah, I also forgot to do. There was one more helix on his backpack here that I missed earlier. Let's see, and oh, you know what? I actually completely forgot one last thing on his not company. This shoulder pad here, there is a little scroll piece. Scroll decorum. Which also needs to be a good leather brown. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Try not to have too much dead air. There we go. Okay. Now I'm done with the layers. Just need to make sure I'm cleaned up. Okay. So you got that scroll on the bottom of his right shoulder pad there. And the strap. And the searchlights that he's got on him. So, or well, one searchlight, one focusing light, because there's one on his helmet too, which, again, nearly forgot about. So now what I'm going to do is add some extra color. I'm going to be using two different shades this time. I will be using, first, the Reichland Flesh shade is more of our reddish brown color, whereas the Agrax is just a brown base. The Agrax is going to be used on everything that was yellow. And not the Agrax, Reichland is going to be used on all the yellow elements. So that includes the geneseed, the floodlights, not the wings on his, whatchamacallit, on his symbol, on his right shoulder there. That I'm actually going to leave to Agrax, like everything else with the leather elements and stuff. So, let's do it. Alright, so that is as much as I'm going to do on this guy for now. We've added some liquid skill to some of the elements on this guy, and he's really starting to come together. And that is basically, yeah, I'll give you a slow check out. There's his shoulder, got some stuff in the back there. And that's basically all of the red derivative elements on this guy. I will be doing some more detail with the geneseed. And then, oof, damn. Let's see. The vials, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with yet. And then there are some other elements here that I need to go over. I will be going back in with the gunmetal eventually. But for now, we'll just let this guy dry. And we'll come back and add some more in a moment. All right. Let's see. Let's get into some more. Well, actually, all that's really left on this guy is just details. Tons and tons of details. Let's see, I've done all the red derivative stuff. Don't need to worry about that anymore. So what I'm going to do now, and I've actually changed my mind on this a little bit, is the next thing I want to work on are all of these little geneseed vials that he's got. He's got the one hanging off his arm that he's presumably going to put this one that's in his hand in. And then there's a few on his chest, and there's also like a couple things on his hip here. Those canisters, I'm not going to do the silver color. Instead, we're going to go with our bright gold. This is my brightest gold, as opposed to the other one, which is not as bright. I'll do that, and then over those vials, I will apply a layer of Reikland Flesh Shade, which is our more reddish brown, or well, yeah, it's like a reddish brown rather than the Agrax, which is just a brown base shade. And then there are some blues that I need to do. So first, you will notice that his, let me bring it down where you can actually see. So he has these microscope lenses that are attached to his gorget or collar. I don't really know how to pronounce it. It's either gorget or I'm pretty sure it's gorget, but it's got a couple lenses. The rims I've already done with the gunmetal, but now what I'm going to do is fill in the lenses themselves with dark sky. That's my darkest blue that I have. And let's see, there was something else I needed. Oh shit! I didn't realize I had this. I'll have to use that later. Nice. But what I am going to do is after, oh yeah, so this dark sky, it's going to go on those lenses, and then it's also going to go into this this portion of this gun here. You see where it's blank right now? That's supposed to be kind of like a vial tube sort of thing. That's also going to be the dark blue. Both of those are then going to have a layer of ard coat applied over them, and what this does is it turns the surface of anything it's on into glossy color. So it'll be nice and shiny, and it'll pick up the light. And then the last blue I'm applying is not this one. It's this one. Toxic Mist. It's a nice, very light blue. And what this is going to go over is, so both on the dude here, on the base, and then also on here, they have a pair of tubes that go from kind of like the earpiece area to the front grill. That's what this is going to come in. And then, actually, you know what? I am going to use this electric blue on something else too. Let's see, and then I will also use this on at least there's at least one of the wires on this guy. Yeah, I'll probably use it on his arm wire here. And then last, I will still be using the electric blue here. This is going to be used for one of the canisters on his reductor pistol, probably the one up top here. And I'm going to kind of do it on the bottom and sort of try and make it look like it's, whatchamacallit, like it's half full of liquid, but pointed down, so along the side. Actually, the ard coat I'm going to save for a little bit later, because I'm going to add some more stuff in as well. But for now, let's go ahead, get my light on, and we'll start with the gold. Got some blues down. I held off on doing the washes and stuff because I got some more elements that I want to put on real quick. So next up, I got some greens that I need to put in. I got two different ones that I'm going to be using here. So there's a couple of, actually 3 different ones. Where's the last one? Take this guy. So first, I've got Sick Green, which is really, it's more of a like a foresty green. And what I'm going to use this for is simply down here on his right greave. You can kind of see where there's that skull, and then there's like a laurel motif. The leaf areas, that's going to be done with the Sick Green. And then, so that's it for that color. And then I've got my Scorpion Green, which there's a couple of wires still on this model that have yet to be done. Literally just a couple. There's the one on his floodlight arm on his backpack here, right up on the top. And then there's one more on this device on his hip. That's, see if you can see there, kind of where it's like all blue. There's one more wire in there. Those are going to be done with Scorpion Green. It's our nice bright green. Then I got this last nasty green, Poisonous Cloud, and that is going to be done on the last file on his reductor pistol here, just on the bottom, much like I did with the top one and the blue, where it just kind of looks like there's some liquid sloshing around. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. There we go. Got some greens, some blues, and some golds in. And I think actually there isn't a whole lot left to do on this guy. No, that was pretty much it. Other than the base, which we're all going to do in a minute here. Actually, you know what? I should probably get started. So I still have the washes out here, but I'm going to be adding to my workflow here. So the next thing I'm going to do, since I already have a base layer, I've already got the rocks, and I've already got the like the dirt on the base, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and dry brush over it with our ash gray. That's our light gray. And that is going to give some texture to everything. So let us go ahead. Well, actually, I don't even need to pause. I'll just get a little bit out and do it real quick. Just a little tiny bit. Come in here with my dry brush. And just go over all these rocks and cement work. The building facing that he's got kind of sitting there. I'm already almost done. That was like half of it. Just about. See, there is one rock that he's standing on that I can't quite get into, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. Actually, you know what? I don't even need this. Which means that I can actually finish this guy right now. So that's what I'm going to do. Or almost right now. Just want to get a little bit more of this color on. Sorry about that. Okay. I've just got a couple of wet stuffs to apply. You know what? I do want one more. Where are we? Here we go. So on the laurel motif on his shin there, I'm going to go ahead and add some Coelia green shade to that. That is our, of course, green shade. And that will fill in the cracks on all these little leaves and stuff and darken it up, and it'll look nice. Nice and a bit more realistic. There we go. It doesn't look as good now as it will once it actually dries. But the point is, it's done. So green shade away. Next up is our Reikland Flesh shade, which, as you remember, I'm putting this on the what? The vials. Oh, fuck. I won't be quite finished with this guy yet, actually, I just realized. But that's okay. So, Reikland Flesh shade without tipping over all my shit. Start on this one, and this really adds a nice reddish element to the gold here. And it does darken it up a bit, but I mean, whatever. Add some to the vials on his hips. And then the ones on his chest. So I'm not sure how well you can see it, but those vials have a nice bit of reddish gold in there. You know what? I need to replace this camera as soon as I can with this one, because the razor I have is a bit better, it would appear. I'll deal with that later, though. And I'm sure the autofocus on the razors is monumentally better. But alright, last but not least, I'm going to put our hard coat on. And this will go over the lenses, as I already discussed, as well as the two screens that he's got, because he's got one on his hip device and on his left arm. Let's see, pull over this, and I'm actually going to do some over the floodlights that I painted up earlier. Now, in the gun, on the gun, and I'll show you what this looks like when I'm done here. So arm screen, and where was the last one? Oh, yeah, right here. Okay. So, I think, yeah, that doesn't really help. So, I don't know how well you can see, but, well, especially here on the gun, those vials are now done up with, and you can see how it's catching the light more, so it looks a little bit more like a glass texture, which is the point. So, yeah, right there, those vials on his reductor pistol. And then, the same with his little arm device there. And the lenses on his magnifying lenses, I went ahead and added the hard coat to give him a little bit of brightness. So we're going to go ahead and let that dry, and then there's really only a couple things left, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Okay, so our washes that we did on this guy are finally dried off, including the hard coat. And so now what I need to do is to go back in. There's a couple spots actually on this floodlight here. The smaller one next to his helmet. And then of course on the these vials that he's got on his strapped to his thigh. There are some things that I knew. So like for example, on the floodlight here, you can see that there's the like the metal cage that would go over, well, what should be the glass. I need to go back in with my gunmetal and just kind of get some color in there as well. And let's see, what else do I want to do? I'm also going to add in a little bit of poison cloud kind of onto the geneseed here. I'm going to try and go in rather lightly. And basically just to add some more different color on there. Because right now it's just yellow with some reddish wash on there. I don't want that. So I will, well, let's see what I can do with the poison cloud first. And then the metal. Okay. Easy done. So now, got one more thing left to do. Let's see, I'll give you a good... yeah, so you can kind of see over the floodlight, I got some color on the cage back in there, as well as on his thighs. A little hard to see because the focusing is still a bitch. And then I added just a little bit of a green to his geneseed. Nothing too much, just to actually, you know what? I have an idea. I'm going to try adding in, or introducing another wash color. Go with Carolberg Crimson. This is much more of a red shade, other than what I've been using before. And let's see just what I can do with this. Oh, yeah. It's adding in a little bit of darker elements, a little bit more blood-like. Yeah, I like that. Just fine, because I'm really only ever going to do one apothecary. So I won't have to do this again. There we go. It's even more reddish than before, especially around his hand. Alright. That's out of the way. So now, as I was trying to say, only one thing left to do, and that is to add in some snow on his base. We've already got everything else done on this thing, so basically we just need to, go over a few sections with our fancy-pantsy snow. Let's see, I know I had a brush for that. Okay. I just have a bigger brush here. And we just glob up some of the snow and just start applying it all over the base. Especially want to get some on the dude, make it look like he's been buried there for a little bit. And of course around his feet oh shit. Actually, it's fine. Got a few bristles sticking out on this brush, but I think I can manage. Maybe not. See, I just need to... They don't come out that easily either. You know what, maybe wetting this thing will do the trick. Oh yeah, that's a little bit better. A little bit, I say. There we go. There we go. too much. Get some of this around his toes and his feet. And I'm not too worried about spilling over the base because later on I'm going to go ahead and cover or redo the rim with some black paint, but you don't need to see me do that. Now, the real trick is to get some snow on here without getting too much higher up on the model. There we go. Get some on all around. And really just kind of get this guy sort of buried in snow a bit. And we'll get some in there. Perfect. And now just kind of go through and wipe off some of the excess so that there's not too much. I don't want a lot of texture on the actual rim. Just get rid of some of that. And that is it. Our Black Templars Apothecary is finished. Check that dude out in all of his glory. And for the glory of the Black Templars chapter. Love it. And now, upon the finishing of this dude, you will also see whenever I do the actual posts for this show now too, I got myself a new photo booth thingy, which is smaller and therefore easier to set up. So I'll actually be using that picture instead of, just taking a screenshot of this thing, which is also harder to do since I've got like the, you can see I've got the label up here and all that. Or not the label, but whatever. So, that is it for another episode of the Ponchos Paint Booth with our Black Templars Apothecary. Does that? Here. A little bit better. Yeah, there you go. See, this one actually focuses like it's supposed to. Anyhow, once again, if you haven't already done so, go to the corner, like and subscribe to Multi-Murdy Media. That is a channel that you're watching right here on YouTube. You'll get this playlist as well as a few others, including video games and my podcast. Go ahead and check it out yourself. You can see. And also, if you stay tuned to the end of the episode, I'll have all the links to all my socials and my website, which is also in the episode description, multimurdymedia.com, as well as on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and the .com, as I mentioned. And of course, if you, just go ahead and go to the website. You get all my links there as well. And you will also see the model gallery for this show. And it basically has like most of the stuff that I did, except for commissions, of course, because those are separate and usually aren't full paint schemes. As well as a few models that I did previously, but not too much. So, that's it for now. Stay tuned. I have plenty more along the way. I've got like 5 videos already that I'm almost done with, including this one. So, see you again real soon.